Deep inside the blackness of space, far from any planet or star, the mining ship Prospector floated silently beside a large gray asteroid. The asteroid was rough and covered in dust, a silent giant drifting in the void. On board, a small group of miners prepared for their day's work. The crew was used to this quiet life. Their job was simple: drill into the asteroid and collect valuable minerals hidden inside. It was not glamorous, but it paid well. Captain Lorne, a strong man with years of experience, checked the ship's controls and watched the asteroid slowly. "Rotate." "All right, team," Lorne said, his voice steady. "Let's keep this quick and clean. Drill deep, gather what we can, and get out." The team nodded. There was Mara, the lead engineer, who managed the drills and equipment. She was calm and careful, always watching every detail. Then there was Jox, the youngest of the group, eager but sometimes nervous. Lastly, old Sam, the veteran miner who had seen more asteroids than anyone else. They suited up and prepared the big mining drill. It was a powerful machine, designed to cut through rock and metal with ease, as the drill's giant bit was sharp and shining under the ship's lights. The crew knew this drill, well lit, was their most trusted tool. As the drill touched the surface of the asteroid, a low hum filled the air. Slowly, the drill bit began to turn, biting into the rock. Dust and small stones flew as the drill dug deeper. The crew worked smoothly, used to the rhythm of the machine and the steady progress. Hours passed. The asteroid was quiet, except for the sound of the drill and the faint crackle of the ship's machinery. The miners joked softly among themselves, trying to keep their spirits up during the long shifts. Life in space was lonely, and moments like these made the time pass faster. Suddenly, Mara's eyes widened. The drill's sensors flickered, picking up strange signals from below the surface. "Captain, I'm seeing some weird vibrations coming through the drill," she said, her voice calm but serious. "It's not normal rock." Lauren frowned and leaned over the console. The readout showed a faint but steady pulse. The vibrations were small but consistent, like a heartbeat deep inside the asteroid. "Could be a fault in the equipment," Lauren said. "Jox, check the drill's motors." Jox nodded and went to inspect the machine. He ran his hands over the metal surface, listening closely. "Everything looks fine," he reported after a moment. "No signs of damage or wear." The strange vibrations continued. The crew exchanged worried glances. Sam scratched his beard and said, "I've never felt anything like this on a normal rock. Something's down there, but I don't know what." The mood in the ship changed. The quiet routine was broken by a growing feeling of unease. The asteroid seemed colder somehow, and the shadows inside the ship stretched longer. The crew felt it too, a subtle pressure, like they were not alone. Mara tapped her fingers nervously on the console. "Captain, the drill's sensors are picking up something else now, a sound like a distant echo." Lauren's eyes narrowed. "An echo? From where?" "Inside the asteroid," Mara replied. "It's faint but clear enough to hear." The crew gathered around the console, listening carefully. The sound was strange, not like any rock fall or machine noise they knew. It was a low, rhythmic pulse, almost like a call or warning. Jox swallowed hard. What if it's a creature, something living inside the rock? Sam laughed softly, trying to lighten the mood. "You're watching too many old space tales, kid. Asteroids don't have creatures." But the doubt was there. Lauren could feel it too. The feeling of being watched grew stronger. He looked around the dimly lit cabin and noticed the crew shifting nervously. Suddenly, a soft rumble shook the ship. The Prospector trembled, making tools and equipment rattle. The lights flickered for a moment. Miners grabbed hold of nearby rails to keep steady. "What was that?" Mara asked, her voice tight. "No idea," Lauren said. But it came from inside the asteroid. More vibrations followed, stronger this time. The drill's hum was almost drowned out by the shaking. The asteroid itself seemed alive, shifting beneath their feet. "Maybe the asteroid is unstable," Sam said. "Could be a quake or movement." "Of underground rock?" Jox looked out the small window. He saw cracks forming on the asteroid's surface, thin lines spreading like spiderwebs. Dust rose in small clouds. The crew worked quickly, trying to secure the drill and check the ship's integrity. They sent warning signals to the mining company, but the remote location meant no help would come soon. As the tremors settled, the strange echo returned, louder and clearer. This time, it wasn't just a sound, it was a pattern. The pulse, repeated in regular beats, almost like a code. Mara stared at the readouts in disbelief. "This isn't natural," she whispered. "It's like something is trying to communicate." Lauren's heart raced. "If something's alive in this rock, we need to know what it is. But first, we survive." The crew looked at each other, fear and curiosity mixing in their eyes. The mining job was no longer ordinary. Something hidden and ancient was stirring. Beneath them, suddenly, a sharp sound echoed through the tunnels, a deep low growl, or maybe a mechanical roar. The prospector shook violently. Jocks grabbed Mara's arm. "We have to get out, now." Lauren raised his hand to stop him. "No, we need answers. This is more than a mining job. It's a discovery." The ship's alarms blared as systems flickered on and off. The miners braced themselves, ready for whatever was coming from the depths of the asteroid. Outside, the dark rock hid secrets older than humanity itself. And the simple mining drill was the key that had awakened something deadly. The hidden chamber the prospector shook violently from the strange roar beneath. The asteroid's surface. The crew's hearts pounded in their chests. What had they just awoken? The quiet routine was gone. Now fear and mystery filled the ship. Captain Lawrence stood firm, trying to keep control. "Mara, get the drill running again. We need to see." "What's down there?" Mara nodded, but her hands trembled slightly. "It's not just rock anymore. Whatever we hit is alive, or something like it." Jock stared at the dark wall of the asteroid through the small viewport. The crack had grown wider, and inside a faint blue light pulsed like a heartbeat. That light was coming from inside the asteroid. Sam grabbed a flashlight and headed toward the drilling controls. "Let's find out what's behind that wall." The drill roared to life once again, bigger and brighter than before. It spun faster, cutting through the thick rock with ease. The miners watched anxiously as the tunnel grew deeper, heading toward the blue light. After what felt like an eternity, the drill broke through the last layer. Dust and small stones fell away, revealing a hidden chamber deep inside the asteroid. The chamber was unlike anything the crew had ever seen. Its walls were smooth and covered with strange symbols that glowed softly in blue and green. Alien markings curved like vines, twisting and turning in patterns that made no sense. The blue light came from a large, round device in the center of the room. It hovered a few inches above the ground, pulsing with energy. The device was made of a dark metal, shiny and smooth, covered in the same glowing symbols. The crew slowly entered the chamber. The air was cold, and a faint hum filled the space. It was a low sound, almost a whisper, but it made everyone feel uneasy. Jock stepped closer to the device, his eyes wide. "What is this?" Mara studied the symbols on the walls and the device. "I don't know, but it looks like some kind of ancient technology, something way older than us." Sam touched one. Of the glowing symbols, a small spark jumped to his finger, but it did not burn. "It's alive somehow." Suddenly, the device pulsed stronger and a beam of light shot up from its center. The room filled with a soft glow, and the symbols on the walls began to move like liquid. The crew took a step back, startled. The chamber felt alive. Aramada's fingers flew over the control panel on the drill console. "Captain, the ships. Systems are going crazy. The device is affecting our machines." Lauren grabbed the console. "Can we shut it down?" Mara shook her head. "No, it's not responding. It's like it's powering up." The miners watched in silence as the device began to change. The beam of light stretched higher and higher, filling the chamber with brightness. Then, the device projected a hologram above it. The image was a star map, but not one the crew recognized. It showed many stars and planets connected by glowing lines. At the center was a symbol that looked like a shield with a strange shape inside. The crew stared at the map in awe and confusion. "What does it mean?" Jocks asked. Mara's voice was tense. This looks like a warning or a message." Before anyone could say more, the ground beneath them trembled again. The asteroid shook violently, sending dust and small rocks falling from the ceiling. Lauren grabbed a pipe and braced himself. "Get back to the ship." Now the crew ran. Out of the chamber, dust filling the air. As they reached the drill and the ship's airlock, a deep rumbling echoed through the asteroid. The surface outside cracked further, revealing strange shapes moving inside. The asteroid was no longer quiet or still. Mara checked the ship's systems. The device is powering something, or waking something up. Suddenly, the lights flickered and the alarms blared. The asteroid was breaking apart. The crew rushed into the ship. Low. The prospector moved quickly away from the cracking asteroid, but the crew's minds raced faster than the ship. Wait, what had they awakened deep inside that rock? Something ancient, something powerful. Captain Lorne stood by the window, staring into Warren. The darkness, the shadow inside the asteroid had vanished beneath the dust, but its presence still felt heavy in the air. He turned to the crew. "We need to understand what we're dealing with," Lorne said. "Mara, what do the ship's systems say about that device?" Mara's fingers flew over the console. The alien device is still active, sending energy pulses stronger, now in its link to the asteroid's core. Jocks looked over her shoulder. "What does that mean?" "It means," Mara said slowly, "that whatever's inside that asteroid is waking up because of the energy we disturbed. Our drill did more than just break rock. It triggered something." He sighed, rubbing his tired eyes. "Back in my day, we didn't wake ancient space monsters with drills." Lorne ignored the joke. "We have to prepare for the worst. If that thing moves, we need a plan." Suddenly, the ship shook violently. Lights flickered and alarms blared again. "Hold tight!" Lorne shouted. The ship's sensors showed a massive energy wave surging from the asteroid, hitting the prospector. Like a storm, the ship rocked as power systems fluctuated. "What was that?" Jocks shouted over the noise. "An energy pulse," Mara said. "It's coming from the device, or whatever the device controls." Then the ship's viewscreen showed something terrifying. A massive form emerging from the cracks in the asteroid. It was huge, bigger than any ship the crew had ever seen. Its surface shimmered with metal plates and strange glowing lines. A living machine, or maybe a machine alive. It moved slowly, but with power, its many limbs cracking the asteroid as it rose. The crew stared in shock. This was the Guardian, the ancient thing the drill had awoken. Lorne's voice was calm but firm. "Get ready. We don't know if it's hostile, but we must be prepared to defend ourselves." The Guardian's glowing eyes locked onto the prospector. It reached out one massive limb toward the ship. The crew scrambled to control the ship's weapons and shields. Mara worked quickly. "The ship's weapons are weak against something like that. We need to find a weakness." Jocks pointed to the hologram star map the device had projected earlier. "Maybe the map shows how to stop it." Lorne nodded. "Good, Mara. Can you link the ship's sensors to the star map? Maybe we can find clues." Mara typed quickly. The star map on the screen shifted, zooming in on a small symbol glowing. Near the asteroid, a symbol that looked like a power core. Jocks' voice was tense. "That could be the Guardian's heart. If we disable that, maybe we can stop it." Suddenly, the ship shook again. The Guardian's limbs slammed onto the asteroid next to the prospector, causing rock and dust to fly. "Brace yourselves," Lorne shouted. The crew gritted their teeth as the ship's shields absorbed the shock. Sam spoke quietly. "This thing is old, but not dead. It's a machine built to protect, but now it's a danger." Mara frowned. "If we can't escape, we have to fight smart. Use the drill." Lorne turned to her. "The drill? How?" Mara explained. "The drill's power system is connected to the ship. If we can use it to attack the core shown on the star map, we might be able to shut down the Guardian." Jocks' eyes lit up. The drill was the one that woke it. Maybe it's the only thing that can stop it. The crew prepared for their plan. They moved the drill into position, aiming toward the asteroid's core, where the Guardian's heart. Might be. The Guardian watched, its many eyes glowing brighter. It seemed to understand. The prospector slowly moved closer to the asteroid, the drill spinning and glowing with power. Suddenly, the Guardian lashed out. Its massive limb smashed the ground, sending debris toward the ship. "Take evasive maneuvers," Lauren ordered. The ship dodged, but the attack damaged some systems. Sparks flew, and the engine struggled. "We're not built for this kind of fight," Mara said, "but we don't have a choice." The crew stayed focused. The drill's power surged as it made contact with the glowing core inside the asteroid. Energy shot through the drill, lighting up the ship's hull. The Guardian howled in pain, its movements becoming slower, but it was not finished. The Guardian's eyes flashed with a fierce red light. Jox held his breath. "Is it going to attack us directly?" Lauren gripped the controls. "Hold steady. Keep the drill steady. We must finish this." The drill's power reached its limit. The core inside the asteroid began to crack and glow brighter. Then, with a loud explosion, the core shattered. The Guardian shuddered. Its glow faded, and it slowly collapsed back into the broken asteroid. The shaking stopped. The ship was quiet. Again, but the crew knew their fight was only the beginning. Lauren sighed with relief but said, "We survived today, but this technology, it's not something we can ignore. Something bigger is out there." Mara nodded. "We've only just begun to understand." Jox looked out at the silent asteroid. What else is waiting in the stars? The prospector set course away from the asteroid, carrying with it the mystery of ancient guardians and the weight of humanity's future. The Guardian's challenge, the prospector floated silently in space, the damaged asteroid shrinking behind it. The crew sat tense, still recovering from the fierce battle with the ancient Guardian. Their ship was battered, but they had survived. Captain Lorne stared at the fading star map glowing on the console. "That was more than just a machine," he said quietly. "It was a test, a Guardian built to protect something valuable." Mara nodded. "Oh, yes, but it didn't just attack us. It challenged us, tried to see if we were worthy." Jox leaned forward, eyes wide. "What do you mean, worthy?" Before anyone could answer, the ship's sensors beeped suddenly. A message appeared on the main screen, written in strange alien symbols, the same as the glowing ones inside. "The asteroid." Mara frowned. "It's a puzzle, a challenge." "The Guardian left us a message." Lauren's voice was steady. "Can you translate it?" Mara shook her head. "Not yet, but I can try." For hours, Mara worked, studying the alien symbols, comparing them with the star map and the device's readings. The crew waited quietly, nervous and curious. Slowly, Mara discovered a pattern in the symbols. They were instructions, or a code. The message told of a trial. If the crew could solve the puzzle, it would prove their worth and unlock the secrets of the ancient race. The room darkened as the ship's lights dimmed. The symbols on the screen began to glow softly. Suddenly, the walls of the prospector seemed to shift. The ship's interior transformed into a strange, holographic space filled with glowing alien shapes and symbols floating in the air. The crew gasped. They were inside the Guardian's challenge. Lauren took a deep breath. "We must solve this. It's not just for us. It's for humanity." Jox reached out to touch one glowing symbol. It flickered and changed shape. Mara explained, "These symbols represent logic puzzles, tests of intelligence, courage, and teamwork." The crew began working together, moving through each challenge step by step. Some puzzles tested their memory, others required quick thinking and coordination. Every time they succeeded, the symbols glowed brighter. But the challenge was not easy. At one point, the holographic walls seemed to close in, adding pressure. The crew felt their hearts pounding. They were trapped, but the challenge had rules, and they must follow them. Sam, the oldest miner, smiled quietly. "This reminds me of old stories, tests from ancient gods. Only those who prove themselves can pass." Hours passed. Crews struggled and pushed their minds to the limit. Just when they thought they had finished, the ship shuddered. The holographic space shifted again, revealing one last puzzle, the hardest of all. The symbols formed a complex pattern, with moving parts and shifting light. It was a code, but also a riddle. Mara studied it closely. This is the Guardian's final test. If we solve it, the ancient secrets will be ours. Jox leaned closer. But what if we fail? Lorne's voice was calm but firm. We won't fail. We can't. Together, the crew worked, combining their knowledge and courage. Slowly, piece by piece, they unlocked the riddle. The symbols pulsed faster and brighter. Suddenly, the holographic space faded. The ship's normal lights returned. Ara looked at the console, smiling. We did it. The Guardian accepted us. Lorne nodded. And now we have the knowledge, the secrets of the ancient race. The ship's screens filled with new information, star maps, technology blueprints, and warnings of dangers in deep space. The crew realized their job was no longer simple mining. They were now part of something bigger, protectors of lost knowledge. But even as they celebrated, a new alert flashed on the screen. An unknown ship was approaching fast. Lorne's eyes narrowed. Looks like the galaxy knows we're not alone anymore. The prospector prepared for whatever came next. The drilling station shook again, harder this time. Loose tools clattered off shelves. The crew scrambled to hold on to something as the floor trembled beneath them. Red warning lights flashed, bathing the mining bay in a hellish glow. Captain. Rourke grabbed the wall console and yelled, "Status report!" His voice was sharp, but beneath it, fear was creeping in. Mara's voice came from the control deck, tense and breathless. The seismic activity is spiking. It's not a cavern, it's moving. Moving. That word froze the crew. Lena clutched her mining helmet. "Rocks don't move like that," she whispered, and the sound came again, deep, heavy, like the heartbeat of something huge beneath the asteroid. It pulsed through the walls, making the air feel thick. Jensen, the youngest miner, backed toward the exit. "We need to leave now." But the captain shook his head. "We don't even know what it is." "We're not leaving millions of credits in or behind unless." Before he could finish, the floor split. It wasn't an explosion. It was as if the asteroid itself was peeling open. A glowing red light seeped through the cracks, casting eerie shadows. Dust filled the air, and the smell of burning metal made the crew cough. Mara shouted from the deck, "Something is coming out." They saw it then. A massive shape pushed its way up from the depths. It wasn't rock at all. It was a structure, metallic and alien. Black plates shifted like armor, revealing glowing lines that pulsed with energy. Lena's voice trembled. "That's not a natural formation." "It's a machine," Rourke muttered, eyes wide, "and it's alive." The structure kept rising until the crew could see its form, a giant head-like dome with rows of strange circular markings. Then, one by one, the markings lit up. The crew realized they were eyes. Jensen stumbled backward, nearly tripping over a crate. "It's looking at us." Without warning, the mining drill they had left embedded in. The rock began to glow, its power surging far beyond normal levels. Sparks flew, and the drill's arm melted away as the energy was pulled into the alien machine. "Kill the power," Rourke yelled. Mara slammed the controls, but the ship's systems refused to respond. "It's overriding everything." "She!" shouted. The machine let out a sound, low and resonant, almost like a voice. It wasn't speaking in words they could understand, but the tone was unmistakable, a warning. Then the vibrations turned violent. The asteroid's surface cracked again, and more of the machine began to rise. Spindly arms extended outward, each tipped with razor-like claws. The glowing eyes fixed on the mining ship. "But it's hostile," Lena screamed. A creature machine moved with terrifying speed for its size. One of its clawed arms slammed down onto the mining bay, tearing open a section of the outer wall. Air hissed out into space as emergency barriers tried to seal the breach. "Everyone to the shuttle," Rourke barked, grabbing Jensen by the collar and shoving him toward the corridor. The crew ran, stumbling through narrow passages as the entire station shook. Behind them, metal groaned and tore as the alien machine advanced. They reached the docking bay, but the shuttle's hatch was stuck. Mara scrambled to the control panel, fingers flying over the keys. "It's jamming us. It's in the system." Rourke slammed his fist against the wall. "Then we do it manually." He pried the hatch open just enough to squeeze through. One by one, the crew climbed inside, breathless and shaking. Jensen was last, and as he scrambled through, he glanced back and froze. The alien machine was right there, out. Its glowing eyes filled the docking bay, and for a brief moment it seemed to study them, memorizing their faces. Then it spoke again, this time in a strange, broken form of their own language. "Leave or be erased." The shuttle's engines roared to life, and the crew launched into the blackness of space. Through the small viewport, they saw the asteroid collapsing in on itself, the alien machine sinking back into the depths, as if returning to sleep. But Rourke knew better. It wasn't going back to sleep. It had been awakened, and now it knew humans were here. The captain's voice was low as he looked out at the shrinking asteroid. "We didn't just find something, we set it free." The crew sat in silence, each one haunted by the glowing eyes that had followed them to the very end. And somewhere, deep inside the asteroid, the machine's voice whispered into the void, as if calling to something else. Something bigger. The awakening the asteroid shook again, harder this time. Dust fell from the tunnel ceiling. The lights flickered, and the sound in the distance grew into a deep, steady thrum. It wasn't just noise anymore, it was alive. Captain Rourke shouted, "Everyone back to the ship. Now." But they all knew it was too late. From the darkness at the far end of the tunnel, a shape began to move. It wasn't rock, it wasn't metal. It was something else, something that shimmered like liquid but held a solid form. Its skin glowed faintly, etched with lines that pulsed in rhythm with the thrum. Sana's voice trembled. "That's not possible, that's a construct." But this design, it's older than any recorded civilization. The miners stepped back, but the thing moved toward them without rushing, like it had all the time in the world. "It's been sleeping here," Rourke muttered, "and we just woke it up." The machine or creature stopped a few meters away. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the lines on its body flared bright blue. "Ash!" A sound like 1,000 voices whispered inside their heads. "Ash!" The words were not in any human language, yet somehow they understood. "You have disturbed the Guardian. Leave or be erased." Panic hit the crew. 2 miners tried to run back down the tunnel, but the thing moved impossibly fast. In a blur, it blocked their path. It didn't touch them, but the tunnel wall behind them melted into molten rock, cutting off the escape. "Stay calm," Rourke ordered, though his own voice cracked. "We're leaving." Slowly, they stepped back, inch by inch, until they were near the drill. The Guardian's glowing lines dimmed slightly, but its presence pressed into their minds. Sana gripped the drill controls, her knuckles white. "If it comes any closer, I'll—" She didn't finish the sentence. The Guardian tilted its head almost like it was studying them, and in their minds again, "This world is not yours to take." Before anyone could answer, the vibrations stopped. The Guardian turned and glided back into the black depths of the asteroid. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Rourke barked, "Power up the ship. Now we're done here." As they flew away from the asteroid, Sana whispered, "What was it guarding?" No one answered. But far behind them, deep inside the rock, the Guardian stood silent before a massive door carved into the asteroid's heart. On its surface, symbols glowed faintly, the same blue lines as the Guardian's skin. Something inside was still sleeping. Now it knew humans had found it.